Okay. Okay, hi everybody. This is Mia from Travelpreneur Tribe, and I am here today with Brendan Burns, and I'm just trying to bring him on camera. So, well, he's in. Oh, hey Brendan.
Hey, Mia.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, and my headset is not working. So, how can you hear me? Can you hear me well like
I can
this?
hear you perfectly fine. It's no problem.
Perfect. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to be a part of the Travelpreneur Tribe. Let's do it.
Woohoo! Thanks for joining. So just before we get started, I mean, few words. So Brendan Burns, he is an influencer, a coach, and a high performance life and business coach. So for you folks that are interested in finding a personal coach, and he's also gonna be one of the coaches on our Travelpreneur Tribe in February in New York. So he's going to be teaching about sales strategies, sales mindset, and really how to get those first customers. And this is something that we're going to be talking about today as well. So, but before I say too much, like I'm going to leave it to you to introduce yourself and, tell us who you are, how you got started, and what's your business all about.
Yes. Well, Mia, thank you again so much for having me on. For those who haven't heard of me, my name is Brendan Burns. And if you go to brendanhburns.com, you will see that I have a webinar where I jump on a trampoline a lot, right, Mia? Can you attest to this?
Yes, I did see that webinar and he was jumping on a
And the
trampoline.
first thing that I want you to do and everyone who's watching to do is jump up and down like a crazy person.
Like literally, like you're gonna make me jump up and
Yes,
down.
jump up and down. Do it.
I don't have trampoline, so
That's okay. So now that we moved our body a little bit, because that's always very important, whether it's in business, sales, personal life, getting the blood flowing is really important. But yeah, as Mia said, I'm a life and business coach. I have been doing this for years now. I used to work on Wall Street, but this is my passion, is helping people grow their businesses, change up their personal life, make a career change, a relationship change, a health and fitness change. And it's something that I've been doing and that I love and I'm passionate about. I also love Instagram. That's where I got started with all of this. If you go to @BrendanHBurns on Instagram, you'll see my travel pictures. I've now been to 6 continents, 50 something countries, and I love traveling and I love combining travel with personal development and helping people.
all right, that's amazing. And you're actually going for your Costa Rica trip in May as well. So
Yes, I am. This is my first live event that I'm personally hosting. It's through Revamp Retreats. It's called the Entrepreneurship and Wellness Retreat. And I think it's really interesting that we could talk about this today because part of why we're talking and what I'm going to be presenting at your event is sales and high ticket sales specifically. And so this event was my first challenge in terms of how do I sell a $3,000 ticket to an event, get someone to get on an airplane, take a week off of work, leave the country, get a passport if you don't have one, and come see me and Amanda Huggins live. So my retreat in Costa Rica was an amazing learning opportunity in terms of how to make high ticket sales. And it's something that we can talk about today if your listeners are interested.
yeah, definitely. I mean, the topic is sales and how to really get those first sales, right? So, I mean, who doesn't want to sell high ticket prices to start with? So, tell us, where do you start? How do you start to even prepare yourself to get there?
Yeah, so the first thing when it comes down to sales is really putting yourself in the shoes of your potential buyer. And that starts by doing what's called qualified leads. So making sure that you understand exactly who your target customer is. And if you're talking to someone who does not fit that role and this product is not good for them, then just getting away and not wasting your time. Because you can talk to someone and they say, I love your product, but I don't have money and I can't afford it. So that means you're not targeting and qualifying people based on financials and based on their income properly. Or you might talk to someone, they say, hey, I have the money, but I'm not interested in this product. And that means you might have the demographic right, but you're targeting people who don't have that need that you're offering to fill. So qualifying leads is a really important first step in terms of understanding what your offer is and what the right person is that needs that offer. Once you have that, then it comes down to a number of things, including understanding what you're offering, understanding why they should be buying from you. And the third part, which I think is the most important, is sales psychology and understanding the psychology behind a buying decision and how it's very often about trust and not about the product or the pitch itself.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more. I actually don't know a lot about the concept of that. So can you clarify a little more around that? What are some of the things that you need to know?
So the first thing that I would want to know is what are the human needs that most motivate you? So if I'm talking to you right now, Mia, there are six core human needs in psychology, and that is certainty, uncertainty, love, connection, significance, growth, and contribution. And if I looked at you, I would say love and connection is probably one. And number two would either be uncertainty or contribution, if I had to guess. And so knowing that, and I wouldn't just assume that, I would ask you questions. I would ask you what your hobbies are. What do you enjoy doing? Because, for example, if you were the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, or you're on stage, or if you're doing all these things to feel really important and powerful, then significance is probably your core human need. Or if I talk to you and you say, I'm going bungee jumping tomorrow, and the next day I'm going skydiving, and the next day I'm going to Burning Man, and I'm going to be walking around getting tattoos and in a bikini the whole time, I'm going to say, okay, uncertainty is probably your top human need. So understanding your person is really important, who you're selling to, because you could have the same product, right? My retreat in Costa Rica or this Travelpreneur Tribe event that you're hosting, same product, but you can describe it very differently based on the type of person and what they're interested in doing. For example, if uncertainty, travel, freedom from the corporate life, so uncertainty really is the core of who that person is, you should be pitching your event as, okay, this is something that will give you the ability to travel full time. This will give you the ability to not have to have one permanent home. This will let you quit your day job. But let's say that significance is their number one human need, being important, special, recognized, known by a lot of people. You could say, hey, at my retreat, we're going to be talking about how to go from 0 to 500,000 Instagram followers. We're going to be talking about how you can build a huge personal brand so you are known all over the world and people know who you are. We're going to be teaching you how to launch a YouTube channel so you can become famous and get a TV show or even be in movies. So see how those things sound so different, but you're selling the same event?
Yeah.
So it's really important to understand the human needs of the person that you're selling to. And that requires detective work as well as asking questions, figuring out who your person is, and then taking whatever you're offering to sell them and compartmentalizing it into what's best for them.
Okay, great. Do you have any tools that you use, or how do you really go about that? Like, how do you get there?
I think mostly coming down to asking questions, because when people sell, they and this is the same thing. Like this is dating advice that's very common. They say, "Be interested, don't be interesting." Most men go on dates and they talk the whole time. They try to say, okay, this girl Mia, I'm talking to her right now. We're out to dinner. She's cool, and I really want to win her over. So let me tell her how amazing I am for 2 hours. Now you're sitting there and you're either bored because I'm not that amazing, or I am amazing, but you're frustrated because I'm talking the whole time and you think I'm this arrogant guy. The best thing that I could do is ask you questions about yourself because people love to talk about themselves. So what I recommend in the sales process is asking a lot of questions, which serves two purposes. It gets people excited and happy because they spend their whole life talking about other people and asking other people questions. So you're actually you're changing their emotional state. You're making them feel good about themselves. But the dual purpose is you're collecting evidence and notes and information on who is this person. So how can I then effectively sell them what I want to sell them? By asking these questions, I'm basically figuring out what do they want, what are they interested in, what do they like, what drives them, what motivates them, what are their human needs. And then you say, well, I have this retreat, and I know that you said you're really interested in travel. And on the first day, we're having a travel expert who's been to 50 countries talk about how he's been able to quit his day job. Or let's say certainty is really important to someone. If certainty is your number one human need, money is very important to you. Steady, stable money. So then you would pitch it as, on this retreat, I'm showing you how I built a 6 and now 7-figure business with consistent cash flow every month. Now, you see, I'm taking the same event and I'm pitching it in so many different lights.
Yeah.
That's really important. So you also have to make sure that you're being honest about what you're selling. You can't say, "Oh, you're going to learn how to make $1 bazillion" when it has nothing. It's not a money retreat. If it's a spirituality event, but you can pitch the same product in a different light to appeal to different people based on what most drives them and makes them happy and excited about life.
Yeah, that's great. And really, I think, one of the things that I'm also noticing, like once when you really get that engagement, even for me, it's like once when you're reading something and when you can totally relate with it, like, oh my God, this is completely for me. So,
Yes.
yeah, I think we have Ahmed that's watching. So, do you have any questions on this, or just either just wave or feel free to ask any questions while you watch. But we're just gonna kind of continue down the line of our sales conversation. So okay, so let's say you are kind of like who you're talking, what your message is, you have all of that. What do you do then?
Well, that's a great question because I think a lot of people qualify their leads really well. They do good networking or good sales prospecting, so they're setting up a lot of discovery calls or phone calls or meetings where they have the client there. They can even go the next step and build rapport, which is something we didn't talk about as much. We can get into that if you want, but that's often mirroring body language, building a connection with a person, and understanding who they are and figuring out how to build a rapport, trust, and connection with them. But then they get to the final step, and then they just say, "Oh yeah, like this has been a great conversation. Like I have some stuff that I could offer you. I'll just send you a follow-up email, and if you're interested, you can buy." Now, if I say that to you, if we have an amazing connection and a great conversation, and then at the very end I just say, "Hey, I have this retreat, and you know what? I think you'd be a good fit. I'll just send you some information on it." You'll say yes, 100% close rate on, okay, I can send you an email. But what do you think the close rate is? What's the percentage chance that someone's actually going to buy the retreat if I just send them an email like the next day?
Probably very low.
5 to 10% on average. That's like someone was so wowed by you that they went the next day and took out their credit card and bought something for $3,000. That never happens. It does, but very rarely. Here's an alternative. While I have you on the phone or while we're in person together, I say to you, "Mia, I have this retreat coming up. I know it's going to be a game changer for you. I know it can change your life. I know this is for you. What do you say?" You're going to get one of two things. You're going to get a hell yes, which again is only 5 to 10%. That's the same person that would buy it anyway if you emailed them the next day. But here's why this is so important. The other 90 to 95% of people that would never buy it if you just emailed them, they either do one of two things. They just look at you silently because they're nervous. They don't know if they have the money. This is a big decision for them. Or they say, "You know what? I'm interested in buying this product or service from you, but here are my concerns." Now, this is where the sale happens. The sale doesn't happen when they say yes. The sale happens when they say no because of this reason. And that's what's called mitigating. So give me an example. Let's just role play it for a minute right now. "Hey, Mia, you seem awesome. You love to travel. I really like your personality. I want you to be at my retreat in Costa Rica. What do you say?"
Sure. I mean, I would love to know more and learn about business, but my problem is really finances because I gotta be very cost conscious, about the investment.
And that's a great one because finances is one of probably the top 3 reasons you get. You usually get finances, you get "I need to think about it," or one thing that I get a lot is "I need to talk to my spouse about this." Often it's if it's the spouse that's not the primary income earner of the family, so you get that a lot. But when it comes to finances, you can say a number of things. Number one, you could say is, "Well, I completely understand that, and I've been there myself personally. I'm still there in many respects. However, all you would need to do is put down a deposit of $500, and then in May, which is many months from now, you put the rest down. Is that something you think you could do? I know it's an investment, but $500 is something I think we can all afford for a great cause. How do you feel about that? And it's really important. Yeah, go ahead. Play it up.
Oh no, so I thought that we're
Yeah.
No, no, please continue.
No, so the most important thing is that at the end of every statement you make, you ask a question and you try to get a yes out of someone. So, for example, if I just said, I know it's expensive, but it's worth it, and I think that this would be a good investment. The deposit's only $500. If I just don't end with a question, then you're going to say, okay, well, thank you, and I'll think about it. So you have to come back with a question. So I say, look, I know it's a financial commitment, but the deposit's only $500. As crazy as it sounds, that's food for a week or two in New York City, and this is something that could change your career and your life. Are you ready to make an investment in yourself? Or do you think that you could put together $500, you can put it on a credit card, and we can make Costa Rica happen? I'm making you answer with a question, and I'm leading you to a yes. And you're sitting there, and you're like, oh my God, I don't have the money, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but okay, let's fucking do this.
It's something that you really need, so.
Yeah, so that's one thing, money for sure. Now, another thing that you can do is you can help them understand that it's an investment. So, for example, when I work with my coaching clients, very often I'm helping them with career transition, getting a new job, starting their own coaching business. I've been very fortunate to build a large coaching business, and I now coach a lot of people who are aspiring to be coaches themselves. And I will say to them, look, if you want to work with me for a 3-month package, it's $5,000. And their jaw hits the ground and they're like, all right, I'm out of here. That's way too much money. But then I say to them, look, I know $5,000 is a lot, but what is it worth to you to have a 6-figure coaching business that you could live off of? 6 figures. And I say, wrong. That's just what it's worth in year 1. Assuming that you keep this thing running for multiple years, it's actually worth 7 figures, if not more. So helping them understand what Travelpreneur Tribe event is worth in terms of dollars and cents. Yes, there's the cost of the venue, the cost of doing business, but helping them understand the value in terms of what they're getting. That also comes from confidence in understanding what you're going to deliver them. Do you know who Tony Robbins is?
Yes, of course.
He hasn't.
Who doesn't know Tony Robbins?
I know, right? He's awesome.
So we have some people watching on live. I hope everybody knows. So we'll get some hands up or waves or yes if everybody knows who Tony Robbins is.
Yes. Type yes in the chat box if you've ever heard of Tony Robbins. We got a bunch of people watching, it looks like. So Tony has an event called Business Mastery. He does a lot of life coaching, but he also does one event that is straight up business coaching. And it's expensive. I think it's like $6,000 or $7,000 for 4 or 5 days. So it's costly, but it's very valuable, obviously. And people love it and they go back year after year, or they then go to his other events. So Business Mastery, if you see his advertisement, he advertises on YouTube and Facebook ads. The first thing that he says is, you will get $1 million in value on the first day of the event. Now, there are a lot of people who say Tony Robbins is very extreme and speaks in hyperbole. So you may not need to say that or even feel comfortable saying that. But if you believe that you can deliver a certain amount of value, that's what sales is, right? If you don't have a product that can deliver, you shouldn't be selling it in the first place. But your goal is to create something that's valuable enough that you offer it at a price where you can make a nice living, but you're over-delivering to your clients. So Tony says, my event costs $7,000, but I will give you $1 million in value for your business. And he does. He teaches you how to create a 6-figure business, which at a 10% discount rate values it at $1 million or more dollars. So if you can feel comfortable saying that, that's going to get someone a lot more interested than if you just say, hey, I have this event, you should come, and then you don't follow up with a question, and they say, yeah, let me think about it. You send them that email, they don't respond, and the lead's dead.
Okay. So I guess it's about, the sales scripts. Like, how do you really know what to say, what questions to ask? How do you keep them engaged? So where can we learn more about that?
So one of my favorite guys, and I'm basically going through his program now, and I'm going to be experiencing it in my own life, and then I'm going to be reteaching it in my own personal experience, more for the 21st century and more for the online business world. Have you ever heard of The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan Belfort he is the Wolf of Wall Street. He wrote the book. The movie is based off of him, and he created an online course called Straight Line Persuasion, which teaches his sales strategies that enabled him to make $1 million per week. When he was in his he was in his 20s and he was making over $50 million a year. Now, he is the first to admit that he broke all sorts of laws while doing this. And when he comes out in his course, he says, look, guys, everything that I'm going to teach you is going to make you an extremely, extremely top 0.1% effective salesperson. But you have to use it ethically, because what I'm going to be teaching you is how to basically sell anything to anyone. And you have to make sure that you're ethical about this and that you're positioning and only selling things to people that they actually need and want and will benefit from. That being said, let's dive in and let me show you how to sell anything. So it's an awesome course, and I recommend it. Now, it's an expensive course. I think it's at least $1,000, if not $2,000. So I definitely offer more affordable access, and you can learn very similar skills through my programs. And I mentioned my website earlier. But he is someone who's been very valuable to me in understanding sales. Tony Robbins is another great example. His framework of the 6 human needs that I was talking about earlier is very powerful. But I would say the most important thing is to just get out there and sell. You know, the best way to learn from something is to make a mistake. You know, I've said the wrong thing and be like, I'm never going to say that again. I'm going to say this instead.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's whether either you're starting your business or whatever you're doing, right? People learn on their mistakes. So like just go out there, do it, and you'll learn as you go by. So, but I mean, there's definitely, like what I find, like value in those type of like things, because yes, eventually you're going to learn. But if you do like take, coaching programs, or if you do work with a coach or a mentor, like you're definitely cutting down like your time needed to do that, and you're just you know avoiding all of the other mistakes that might have taken you much longer in order to do it. So
Exactly. And 2 other things that I just want to say are, one is, I think most people in this world who are trying to build their own business or digital lifestyle or whatever, they spend the majority of their time doing research and trying to read blog posts and articles on how to be successful. And then they spend maybe 10 to 20% of their time actually executing and talking to people and launching products and trying to sell. And when I realized that that was the case for me, I reversed it. So I said, I'm still going to research and learn and invest in myself, but I spend 20% of my time doing that. And I spend 80% of my time on sales calls and prospecting and networking and building programs and offering services. So most people who are watching this are probably spending the majority of their time doing research and learning, which is fine, but spend a little bit less time every day doing that and a little bit more time every day actually out there executing. And then the other thing that I want to say, especially when you're trying to close someone on a sale, is get comfortable with that uncomfortable quiet where the person is thinking. Because if I say to you, Mia, Costa Rica revamp retreats, this is happening, what do you say? $500, let's go. I feel the energy. I feel like you belong there. Let's make this amazing trip. It'll be one of the best trips of your life. What do you say? The average person, I'll probably have like a 30% close rate, 30 to 50% close rate if I'm doing a really good job. But nobody says yes immediately. 5 to 10% of the people are like, let's fucking do this. The vast majority of the people sit there, fuck, I don't know, what am I going to do?
rise.
And if I start talking, I ruin it, because you're not going to say it. I have to learn how to sit there and hold space and be present and calm and let you come to me. It's almost like, have you ever heard of the movie Hitch with Will Smith?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hitch, he's a dating coach, and he teaches nice guys how to get women. And he is talking to Kevin James, and Kevin James is about to go on a date with this woman, and they've been on like 1 or 2 dates, and it's time for him to like take her to this thing. And at the end of the night, he's planning on kissing her, like a goodnight kiss, first kiss. And Hitch says, you go 90%. The guy goes 90, and then the girl comes the last 10. It's the same thing in sales. If I go 100% If a guy goes 100% with a girl, she's gonna be like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? But if you go 90, they might not come that 10, but they also might. And if they do, you made the sale.
Yeah, nobody wants to be pushed in, right?
No.
Because like we feel it, and yeah, it's definitely, the way to go. So good comparison. Interesting comparison, actually.
Well, I'm certified now. I'm going through certification, and I'm trained as a relationship coach. And so I've done life coaching, I've done business coaching, I've done career, and the missing piece in my toolkit was relationships. So John Gottman has a training program, and I did level 1. I'm doing level 2 in a couple of weeks, and it's so fun because I love understanding relationships and all that stuff, and it's benefited me in my own personal relationship with my girlfriend now. But the more I learn about relationships, the more I see how similar it is to actually like business and selling and success. So whether you're selling yourself to a woman or you're selling a product to a person, it's actually very similar. It's about, it's the same thing. If you're on a date with someone, you want to feel trust, and you want to feel connection, and you want to feel safe, and you want to feel like this is the right thing for you. You never want to feel pushed, whether it's a program or whether it's a date.
Of course, yeah. So yeah, I can totally see, how you can like reuse some of those tactics and tools that you use, in like your everyday life, in your business versus life, because we're all dealing with people, right? So it's
Exactly.
people's emotions and
Yeah, emotions is a huge thing in sales. Like, I know that if I'm having a bad day or if I feel lousy, I'm going to either reschedule some of my calls or just know going in that, like, all right, this is like probably not going to be the best situation. And a lot of people will be like, oh, that's a terrible attitude. And I agree because I'm not perfect and I'm still working on it. But I have had days where I have not felt great about myself, or I felt painful, negative emotions, and then I get on the call with them and it doesn't go as well. Versus, let's say I just make a sale and I sold someone Costa Rica plus 3-month coaching package plus like whatever else. Like, let's say I sold someone like my VIP $20,000 everything, and I hang up and I just took their payment, and then it's like, okay, I get on the next call. I'm gonna be like, hey, how's it going? How's your day? And it's just gonna be like the best energy, and my chance of then closing that person is gonna be really much higher. So, what's the takeaway? Invest in yourself, invest in your emotions, invest in self care. Get a coach, get a therapist. Like, figure out how to be happy. Right? I know that's not always easy, but if you can become a happier person, then you're probably going to be a more successful salesperson. Why is it that like the president of the fraternity, the head of the sorority, the person who's the best looking can be the best salesperson, right? It's not always the smartest. It's the person who comes from a good energetic state, who's feeling positive emotions, feeling good about themselves, makes other people feel good about themselves too.
correct.
Yeah.
Good. All good info. I think we just had Jennifer joined our live. So, hey, Jennifer, I don't know if you're still there, but thanks for joining. And so I know we're shortly wrapping up, but any other tips that you still want to share when it comes to like sales and getting those clients?
Yeah. So another thing I would say is it's really important to have a suite of product offerings. A lot of people come to me and they're like, Brendan, I've made no sales. I have this coaching program and it's like $7,000 and literally zero people have bought it and I'm screwed and I'm going to go out of business. And I say to them, what's your favorite type of food, Mia?
Well, I like food in general, so I don't think I could like select one type. But I don't know. Okay, let's go with Brazilian, for instance. Like,
Okay, Brazilian. So let's say you love Brazilian food. Do you like where they bring out the steak and they shave it off of the big things?
of
Of
course.
course, that's a classic, right? Let's say you walked into a Brazilian restaurant, you asked for that, and they said, we don't have that. And then you said, well, what about this dish? Oh, we don't have that. What about this, my other favorite dish? Oh, we don't have that. They said, we just have this really nasty vegetable that's out of season, and we're just trying to get rid of it. And you look at them, and you say, you only have one item on your menu, and it's like the one that I don't want. What are you going to do? You're going to leave the restaurant. You're going to go eat somewhere else. It's the same thing when you're trying to sell people things. A lot of people out there only have one product, and then you get on the phone with someone, and they legitimately have no money. And when people say they don't have money, I don't let them up that easy because people have credit cards, people can make investments in themselves. Most people can put together even enough money for a high ticket program if you finance it right. But if someone legit has no money, or they just bought a $20,000 program and they're just really not in a position to spend a lot of money, have a low ticket item. Even if it's a $7 PDF, you're making a transaction with them where, more importantly, you're building trust with them. Because if someone buys a $7 PDF from you, they are 7 times more likely to then buy a high ticket item from you instead of if they were cold traffic. So have a $7 PDF, have a $50 membership site, have a $200 a month group program, and then, yeah, have as many high ticket items as you want. But remember, when you get on a call with someone, have options for them. Now, this is a mistake that I used to make, which was I freely give people all my options up front. You don't want to show all your cards. Because if I get on the call with you, you're successful, you have a day job, I know you have some disposable income, and if I came at you with I was like, well, you can enroll in coaching for $1,000 a month, or you can enroll in my small group thing, which is only $50 a month. You're going to take the 50 every time. So don't give everyone those options right away. Just have them just in case. Always start with the big one, and if it's a definite no, then come in with the lower ones. But having that diversity in the selection is really important.
Yeah. And again, it's about bringing value, right? So, like, if you don't bring any value, like, what are you selling?
Yeah.
So,
And the more value you bring, I find, because confidence is a big buzzword that everyone talks about. Oh, you have to be confident in your product, right? And so there's all these hypnosis trainings and all these secret ways to try to like feel more confident. But in my opinion, the best way to feel confident about your product is to just actually deliver great value. And maybe you need to go get a certification or whatever you're offering, or maybe you need to figure out how to make your product really good. But once it's really good and you offer it to people and they start giving you results or giving them results, and they come back to you and they tell you how much they like the product, that's the best way to build confidence in your own offering, right? Like if you're just, you know that you're good based on all the positive feedback you're getting, then you can be like, look, this is what's working. We didn't even talk about testimonials, but you can share testimonials as well. That's a great way to build confidence, because yes, the most important thing by far is value. Because anyone can learn how to sell one product one time to one person, but the most important thing that you have, really the only thing you have, is your reputation and your brand. And if you use all my strategies to trick a bunch of people into buying a couple packages, first of all, they're all going to quit if you're not delivering. But then they're also going to share with other people how you didn't help them. And that's like the worst thing. That's like the death stamp on your business.
yeah, interesting. So, I mean, you were, talking about, like, how, starting up and all that, and the challenges. So, what were some of your challenges when you were starting up? Like, what were your struggles?
I think lead gen was really hard. So I think one of my struggles was I didn't have a high ticket program. I was only selling online courses. So I had to sell a lot, which was definitely a mistake. Like, had I had a higher ticket recurring revenue coaching offering of some kind, or a done for you social media strategy when I was doing a lot of social, that would have taken a lot of financial pressure off me. So I had only low ticket items. Remember, we talked about having the menu. Most people just have the big ticket and not the small. I was the opposite. I had the low ticket but not the high ticket. So that was a challenge that I faced until I figured that out. And then when you have a low ticket item only, you have to do a lot of volume of sales. And so I was very reliant on Facebook ads and Instagram ads, which can be very unpredictable. So I went through a lot of challenges when Facebook banned my ad account, which is largely driven by AI, but I didn't know that at the time. So having problems with Facebook and Facebook ads, not having the right product selection. Yeah, those were definitely bigger challenges that I faced. And then the other thing is like partnering with the right people. So I partnered with a guy who I thought was very good, but I realized he couldn't deliver results, and we weren't giving value to our clients, and our clients started to cancel on us. So making sure that if you're going to partner with someone, that you have the right partner.
Yeah.
And that, like, I'm just saying that in one line, but that was like hours and days and weeks of like fights and problems and agitation. And I have a much better guy now, but like, I'm still not just sold on him for life. Like, I'm always looking about who can I bring onto my team, because in a business, the same way in a relationship, who you hire in a business is probably the most important decision that you ever make. It's critical. Like they say that 95% of success in your business comes down to who you hire. So I know we're talking to a lot of solopreneurs right now, so it's not as important. But if you scale, or even if you have an assistant, or if you outsource work, or if you have a social media manager or virtual assistant, it's really important to get someone good because your business can live and die by the people who you surround yourself with.
Yeah. All great advice. Thank you so much, Brendan.
My
Um,
pleasure.
Anything that we have missed? Any final words?
Yeah, I mean, we missed a lot because you can't teach how to be a successful business owner in 30 minutes. I think we very efficiently covered a lot of ground here, but I would say that kind of depending on what you're most interested in, they say leaders or readers. So take this as an opportunity to then go dig in more on some of the people that I mentioned. So I mentioned Tony Robbins, I mentioned Jordan Belfort. You know, these are the types of people that you want to be actively listening to and watching them on YouTube and reading their books and listening to their podcasts and just getting really hungry and curious. Because for anyone who's watching, nobody makes money on this call. You make money in between the calls. But use these calls and use those resources as a way to get out there and educate yourself more. But like I said earlier, execution is everything. So many people, like they say that knowledge isn't power, knowledge is potential power. And that's true. You can literally know everything about sales, but if you don't get out there and actually try selling, you're never going to make a sale. So
Yeah.
combine the information and the knowledge and the resources with actually putting it to the test and trying it out.
All right. So let's put it into practice.
Do it, guys. Get out there, get your rejections, get those notches on your belt.
All right. Thanks, Brendan. Thanks for joining and talk to you soon.
Yep, sounds good, Mia. Take care.
Okay. You too. Bye bye.
All right, bye.